Hey guys, it's me. Today is a really big day. I can officially come to YouTube and announce that I am a registered nurse. My nursing school journey has ended and I'm super happy and excited about it. And sort of overwhelmed. It's been a busy last semester, and in between graduating and today, there's been a lot that I've had to do to study for and pass my licensing exam. So it's been kind of a whirlwind, and now I've only got a couple of days more before I start my first job as a nurse. So, long time coming. And a lot of people ask me in all of the videos I've made throughout this journey why I decided to become a nurse. You can sort of get bits and pieces of that story if you follow all of my videos, but in case that you are new to the channel or don't really feel like watching all of those long videos of me talking, I wanted to make a video today to read a letter. And it's a letter that I wrote, and I wrote it today. It's a letter that I've been preparing to write for almost 6 years, and today, as I became a registered nurse, I was able to finally write this letter. So this letter is for Amber, and I wanted to share it with her and with all of you as an answer to the question, why did you decide to become a nurse? So I will be reading it now. So, to the ICU staff at Trinity Hospital. My name is Nick. Your nursing team took care of my mom for one long month spanning March and April of 2009. I suppose that means that I'm nearly 6 years late in thanking you all for the care that you gave her, and for that I apologize. But I've been waiting for the day when I would be able to write this very letter, and today is finally that day, so allow me to explain. This letter is meant to thank each and every person involved in Nancy's care back in 2009. You all kept her alive when nobody thought she would survive. You were amazing with my family, and most of all, you were gracious with my mom, who was probably not the most pleasant patient you've ever had. In particular, I'm writing this letter to thank Amber. I unfortunately cannot remember her last name. After calling the ICU this week, I was also informed that she no longer works there, so I hope that somebody who does still has contact with her and can forward this letter to her, or maybe she'll see this video. As mentioned, the entire staff was amazing, but during my month that my mom spent with you all, I got to know Amber the best, and I want to especially recognize and thank her for everything she did and for changing my life. Nurses take care of so many patients that it becomes nearly impossible to remember individuals, but maybe my family was just different enough that you'll remember us. Nancy came in by ambulance on March 20th, 2009 after suffering an MI and a pneumothorax. She was intubated for at least a couple of weeks, and for much of that time we really didn't think she would survive. She eventually began to improve, but once off the ventilator we battled with her nutritional status. My mom, who was only 59 years old, weighed something like 78 pounds on admission, and yet once extubated she refused to eat. It was a complex situation for everyone involved. My sister and I flew in and were at the bedside most of the time. I flew in from New York City, where I was living at the time, and my sister flew in from Norway. Our dad is Scandinavian, so you might remember us as those strange family members from Sweden and Norway. My family, apart from me and my mom, are also all chiropractors. So my sister definitely brought a unique dynamic into the picture. You might remember the green smoothies that we prepared for my mom every single day and then brought in to try to help with her nutritional status. She always refused to drink them. You might remember lots of yelling in her room. We all had plenty of arguments in that room, which probably scared a lot of the ICU staff. We surely brought a lot of drama and maybe something in what I mentioned will spark a memory in Amber's mind and the other nurses that also took care of her. As I mentioned, I came from an entire family of chiropractors. I was one of those kids who was never vaccinated, never really went to the doctor's office, and never spent any time in hospitals since I was born in one. So until my mom's hospitalization, I really had no idea what nurses do. I got quite the lesson during the month I spent at the bedside watching the amazing work of the ICU nurses who took care of my mom. I had no idea just how much they were capable of. The level of skill and autonomy was like nothing I had ever expected, and I was incredibly impressed. Nancy was difficult. She was difficult with us, and I'm sure she gave the staff plenty of headaches too. I'm sure that when the nurses saw on their daily assignments that they had been assigned to take care of her, they were not exactly cheering. Almost as amazing as the skill I saw in the nursing staff was also the compassion and respect with which they took care of her. I never got a sense that the nurses were frustrated with her, even though I'm sure they were a lot of the time. They kept her alive, and they dealt with her attitude in the most professional and graceful manner. Amber was so good. She dealt with my mom's sass really well. She answered all of my questions and my family's odd requests, and she was always in a good mood. I'll never forget one day shortly after my mom had been extubated. She was on BiPAP, and she was pretty hoarse after her prolonged intubation, so nobody who worked there had really heard her speaking yet. Amber was in the room chatting with us as she cared for my mom, and she said, "Nancy, I'm gonna turn your son straight so I can marry him." And my mom looked over at Amber and rolled her eyes and said through her face mask, "Good luck." Those were probably the first words I'd heard her utter in weeks, and I just died laughing. And I know, we all know that Amber never could have succeeded in that conversion, but she was really amazing on all of her other levels. Her comment was the sort of thing we all needed to hear to improve our spirits and make us laugh. Sometimes a brief moment of laughter is the best thing a nurse can give a patient and their family. I never wanted to follow in the family path of chiropractic. I had studied business and I was working in a fancy hotel in Manhattan, but I knew I didn't want to do that forever. I remember one day sitting at my mom's bedside after weeks of watching these ICU nurses do their work, and a thought popped into my head. I want to become an ICU nurse and do what these people are doing. The second thought that popped into my head after that was, who said that? Because it was certainly a completely foreign thought in my head. But the seed had been planted. I really was just so amazed by the abilities of the ICU nurses, and I began to consider the possibility of nursing school. My mom was discharged after a month in your care. She was still in pretty poor health, but stable enough to go back home. Some months later, she fell at home and fractured her pelvis, which brought her back to your hospital for a short time before she then spent another month in a nearby rehab hospital. And then in October of 2010, she came back to Trinity by ambulance, where CT showed that she had suffered a massive hemorrhagic stroke. She was immediately flown to the hospital in Iowa City and passed away 4 days later with all of us at her bedside. From the time she initially came to the ICU at Trinity until she passed away, I had been mulling over the idea of becoming a nurse in the back of my mind. After another quite amazing experience at the hospital in Iowa City, in the ICU and then on their palliative care unit, I became convinced that I wanted to become a nurse. So just weeks after she passed away, I enrolled in a CNA course in New York City, and immediately after finishing, my partner and I moved to Austin, Texas, where I began nursing school. I also got a job at one of the top hospitals in the area as a nursing assistant. I spent 2 years working there on a med-surg unit and transferred into the ICU about a year ago. It has been a long and difficult journey, but I graduated from nursing school last month with a 4.0 GPA. I recently took the NCLEX and found out today that I'm officially a registered nurse. And this coming Monday, I'll begin my career as an RN in an ICU here in Austin. So as I said before, we have nothing but good memories of everyone who helped to take care of my mom, and all of the nurses were fantastic. But I really connected with Amber. She changed my whole life. She has taken care of so many patients, and we were just one case out of so many. But over the last 6 years, I've never forgotten her. She has been my goal. My thoughts have progressed from maybe I should become an ICU nurse like Amber to I'm working toward becoming an ICU nurse like Amber. And now, nearly 6 years later, I'm honored to be able to say I am an ICU nurse because of Amber. Many thanks to the entire collaborative team involved in my mom's care, and very special thanks to Amber, my nursing idol. I hope this letter finds its way to you. I'm attaching a few pictures in my graduation announcement where you are mentioned. Thank you for everything that you did for my family and so many other families. You were my inspiration to go to nursing school, to survive nursing school, and to get a new grad position in an ICU. You really did change my life, and you'll never be forgotten. To the executive team and administration, I do want to express my gratitude toward the amazing collaborative staff that you have. After browsing Trinity's page on the Unity Point Health site, I can tell you how perfectly Amber and the other nurses projected Trinity's mission, vision, and values. They've certainly improved my mom's health, which resulted in the best health that any of us could have imagined for her, and the values of excellence, flexibility, integrity, respect, service, and teamwork could not be more perfect to describe what I saw in Amber and the other nurses who cared for my mom. They're a team you can be truly proud to have. You all took such fantastic care of my mom. I'm honored to be joining you in this profession so that I can take care of the loved ones of so many others, just like you all took care of mine. Thank you for what you do. Your jobs really do affect people on such a profound level. You saved my mom's life, and you changed mine forever. Respectfully, Nick Peterson, RN.